Two of the US's largest news outlets, The Washington Post and The Los Angeles Times, broke a decades-long tradition this election season. They refused to endorse a presidential candidate. This has sparked furor among many US voters, especially as both papers have, in the past, backed Democratic candidates. In 2017, the Post went as far as changing its masthead during then-President Donald Trump's first term in office to "Democracy Dies in Darkness," calling him a unique threat to democracy, while the LA Times had, in 2016, openly endorsed Kamala Harris in her race to the Senate and also ran weekly puff pieces. So, why the shift? Both papers are owned by billionaires. Amazon founder Jeff Bezos bought the Post in 2013, and health tech mogul Patrick Soon-Shiong bought the LA Times in 2018.
What happened here was the editorial boards were both ready to endorse Kamala Harris, and these owners stepped in. We can only speculate why they stepped in. They claim it's to decrease the appearance of bias, and it seems more likely that the people who are saying that this decision is to hedge their bets against the possibility of a future Trump presidency are correct.
The decision wasn't without consequence. Backlash followed, with editors resigning and hundreds of thousands canceling their subscription to the publications. Some went as far as calling their refusal to endorse a candidate billionaire cowardice. Despite being owned by billionaires, both publications are struggling. The LA Times is said to be losing $50 million a year and cut down its staff by 20% in 2024. The Washington Post, on the other hand, suffered $77 million in losses in 2023, while also seeing a 50% drop in readership since 2020. Many viewed the two news outlets' non-endorsement of a presidential candidate as a tactic to broaden their appeal and fill financial gaps. The two non-endorsements are part of a broader trend, however. During the 2008 election, 92 of the US's 100 largest newspapers endorsed a presidential candidate. Fast forward to 2020, and that number dropped to just 54, according to the American Presidency Project Archive. And this isn't the first time the Post chose not to endorse a candidate. It did the same in 1988.
So in 1988, the Washington Post said, "We don't think either candidate is particularly strong." So for them to say that they're not going to endorse again now makes it seem as if they think that Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are comparable candidates, and they could not be farther apart from each other.
Bezos has defended his move, saying endorsements can lead to a bias in reporting. Meanwhile, the daughter of LA Times owner Soon-Shiong claimed the paper had declined to back Harris due to her stance on Palestine's Gaza. Her father later refuted his daughter's remarks, insisting that the paper wanted to avoid further division.
I think it's an issue that certainly could have been a deciding factor in any newspaper's decision not to endorse one candidate or another, but it doesn't seem like it was the case here.
With around 15 billionaires and 6 corporations now controlling most major US media, decisions like these do raise questions. Are US newspapers shifting to align with the interests of their owners? This incident suggests they might be.
I think part of the problem is that we have this commercial for-profit press, but we expect them sometimes to behave like nonprofits. And we like to say that we have benevolent billionaires as the owners, but I think that what we've seen this week is that that's not necessarily the case.